Hello everyone. In this video, I will give you a brief tutorial on how to use the StrykeX Strategy Builder, where you will be able to create your own strategies from the absolute scratch, or you can also use our pre-built algo bots to create them from pre-made templates. So what you need to do is when you go to dashboard, you'll be able to see the Strategy Builder tab right here. Click on Build Custom Strategies, where you'll have two options, either to create a new strategy from scratch, which is this, or you can use our preset templates on popular strategies that we have created so that you get a starting point. Now, let's get started with the basic framework of strategy creation. So I'm going to click on create new strategy. Now you will have four options over here. Either you can select from an indicator or price action based strategy or an option selling time based builder. We are also going to be introducing trading view pine based builder and a completely AI powered no code strategy builder powered by Claude and Perplexity, meaning that you can just put in your prompt and the system is going to create an algo strategy for you. For this video, I'm just going to click on indicator and price action based builder and get started. Now you have two options to create your own strategy. One is build from scratch, meaning you're going to start from the absolute zero, meaning every single thing you can customize. And if you want a specific strategy as a template, like a 920 EMA crossover or an RSI super trend strategy or a Bollinger Band, you can click on any one of them and then proceed so that you get a starting point. So I'm going to click on build from scratch. And then I'm going to come on the first step, which is the strategy overview. So I'm just going to create a test Nifty algo strategy. I'm just going to give it a name. I can give it some description, right? It's optional. And then I will define the folder in which I want to organize it. So let's say I'm going to make it in Parang's algo as the folder. The segment is going to be options. I'm going to select Nifty as an instrument. And then I will define whether it's going to be an intraday strategy or a positional. So I want it to be a positional strategy. Now, at the moment, you can add a maximum of 3 instruments at one go. We are slowly working to increase this limit to up to 10 instruments in one go. Once this is done, my step 1 is complete. Now I am on step 2, where I'm going to set up some basic things about my strategy. I can select my chart type. Currently, we only support candlesticks, and in the future, we will support Heiken Ashi, Renko charts, etc. I can set my preferred time frames over here. These preferred time frames are just for reference purposes so that you know what you are building, right? You can always change them later. Then I will select what chart do I want the algo to create signals on, whether it's the spot chart or whether it's the futures chart. So I can select one of them. The strategy type is pre-selected as price action. And if I want, I can create my signal settings as a custom signal setting. Usually we take candlestick closing as the trigger for any event or any indicator or any entry or an exit trigger for a strategy. But if you want to change it to candle open, candle high, candle low, you can do that. And then we will define the trade direction as bullish, bearish, or neutral. Once I'm done with step 2. I now move to step 3. Whatever I've done in step 1 and 2 is visible on the right section of the screen as a summary so that you have an idea of what you have done in the previous 2 steps. If you want to edit anything at any given point of time, just click over here and you will go to that section. Now, I'm going to be creating my entry and exit criteria. So how is this going to work? Let me help you understand that. So the first thing is, if you want, you can add multiple cases. Multiple cases are nothing but if you want to test the same strategy in multiple instruments, you can do that. If you want to tweak a few things in the strategy, let's say I want to try EMA 2150 as one case and EMA 50 and 75 as another case, you can do that also, right? So over here, I will just simply start with case 1 just to keep things simple. Then the next step that I have to do is to build an indicator collection. So whenever I'm creating a strategy on the strategy builder, I have to first select the set of indicators or tools that I will require to create my strategy. So for this video or tutorial, I'm just going to click on MACD on the 15-minute time frame and click on save and add to collection. Now I'm going to put in my entry condition. So let's start with the entry condition. So I want the entry condition to be, since I want this to be related to the MACD indicator, I'm going to click on MACD. Now it's going to give me 3 outputs. That what exactly is the output that I want to refer. So I want the MACD line to be my output. So I want to take an entry when my MACD line on the 15-minute crosses above the MACD line, which is the signal line. So now I'm selecting a different output. So I wanted this line to cross above the signal line. So the entry condition becomes the MACD line on the 15-minute crosses above the MACD signal line on the 15-minute. If that happens, I want to take an entry. Now, if I want to add another condition or create a binary condition that if this happens, then take an entry, or if that happens, then take an entry, I can click on add condition and select and or as per my preference. I can also embed my AI preset scenarios, meaning that based on whatever entry condition that you have defined, our system will automatically recommend you some confirmations. Like, for example, since I'm creating a momentum entry strategy, it's telling me that I can also add above long-term trend confirmation, or I can add above VWAP confirmation, or I can basically have a RSI confirmation, or let's say a candlestick pattern, etc. Right? So it's just going to recommend you some confirmation that's completely optional for you to use them. Now I will define my exit condition. So let's say my exit condition is if the MACD line crosses below the MACD signal line. If that happens, I'm going to take an exit. Once this is done, my entry conditions are completely defined. If I want to set my stop loss and target apart from the indicator based exit, I can enable it over here. And when I go to the next page, it is going to ask me that, do you want to trade on all days? By default, all days are selected. If I don't want the trades to be taken on Thursday, I can just select that, okay, I only want trades to be taken on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. But since I want to let it take trades on all days, I will select that. If you want to, change your trading window, you can change that. And then there are some outside window behavior settings, that what if your signal comes before 9:20 a.m.? What if your exit comes after 3:25 p.m.? What do you want to do? So you can decide that over here as well. Since it's a advanced setting, I'm not going deep into that. Then I will define how exactly do I want to take the trade. So I want to buy one lot of call option on the monthly expiry of the at the money call. And if I want to set a stop loss target, I can. I can set it on percentage based, point based, or rupee based. And I can also set my trailing stop loss, profit targets, or expiry handling. Again, those are advanced features, so I'm not going to tell them in this video, but there are options for you to set that as well. Then you can do a strategy level risk management also, that do you want to set a day level stop loss or target? You can do that. Do you want to set a strategy level stop loss? You can do that. Do you want to limit it to maximum of, let's say, 1 or 2 or 3 transactions per day? You can do that also. Since I don't want to do anything of that sort, I want a plain vanilla MACD strategy, I'm going to click on next. And over here, I'll get a summary of whatever we've done so far. Since I'm okay with everything, I'm going to click on backtest strategy, and I'm going to select last 1 year as my duration. So now I've given all the inputs to the algorithm. Now it's going to create an algo strategy for me. It's going to run the back test for the last 365 days. So it's going to take about 5, 10, or maybe 15 seconds to fetch all the data. And once the back test is complete, you will be able to see all the results with all the transaction entry exits. You will be able to see the P&L calendar. You will be able to see statistics regarding, what's your maximum gain, average winning trade, average losing trade, risk reward ratio, profit factor, number of trades taken, all of that stuff. So we will wait for the results to come in, and there we go. We have the results. So the first thing that I need to do is the estimated capital requirement is something that the system auto detects. So usually for one lot of Nifty, you need about 30,000 rupees of capital. But since options are very volatile, the PNL is volatile, we usually recommend to at least keep 1,25,000 rupees per lot for any option trading strategy. Why is that so? Because 30,000 is just the bare minimum margin requirement. Your algos could make a profit or make a loss, go into a drawdown phase, or go into a winning streak. So you need sufficient capital with you. So now what I've done is I've changed my capital to 1,25,000, and I can see that the win rate of the strategy is about 37%. The maximum drawdown is about 30% of capital. And in the last 1 year, we've made a 79,000 rupee gross profit. And after deducting brokerage and charges, we are at about 64,500, which is a 51% net return on the strategy. Now, you will also see the equity curve, that strategy has been volatile in this period, and then it started performing really well when the markets became volatile. So on a gross level, it has delivered a 133% return. Average monthly return is about 10.25% on a gross level. And your biggest winner was 44,000. Biggest loser was 9,600. Average win, average loss, risk reward is 2.1 and profit factor is 1.26. Then you can see a calendar view month by month on when did the strategy perform the best. So in 2026, 3 months were profitable, 3 months were losing. In 2025, you can see since we started from June, again, there were about four months profitable, 3 months losing. In 2026 alone, it has made about a 60,000 rupee gain on a capital of about 1,25,000, which is about a 50% return. So far, so good. Now, you will also see some insights like your most profitable trade, your best month, your cumulative PNL. And you will also see your transaction history of all the orders. When were they taken? What was the entry time, exit time, etc. Now you can just click on this to enable government charges in brokerage. And since there is a level of slippage that will always happen, so for those of you who don't understand slippage is basically the difference between the signal price and the actual execution price. So for example, the signal gave you an entry at 182 rupees and asked you to exit at 173.45. In reality, you will actually get a 2 rupee price higher than your entry on an average in Nifty and a 2 rupee lower price when you are exiting, right? So if I click on the slippage button and add 2 over here, you will see that my entry will become 2 rupee higher and my exit will become 2 rupee lower, right? So I'm just going to click on go. So you see that it became 184 from 182, and then this became 171.5 from 173. What it means is that we have factored in 2 rupee per unit of slippage. So since Nifty has a lot size of 65 multiplied by 2 is 130. So we reduced our profit by 130 rupees on the entry. We reduced our profit by 130 rupees on the exit side, and that's the reason you see a 866 rupee loss versus the 600 rupee loss that existed without the slippage. So I'm just going to click on click on go so that I get some realistic results, and now I will go to the performance summary. Now you see such a massive impact slippage can bring in, that a 2 rupee slippage usually would basically almost wipe out a lot of your gains because the number of trades are on the higher side. So you see that in the last 1 year, your drawdown has significantly increased and your net profit and loss is just about 8,300 rupees after all taxes, charges, and costs. This is a very important metric. So since I've created a basic strategy right now, this is not the best strategy in the world, which we can easily see. I wanted to communicate that whenever you're looking at a strategy, especially with options, always put in a 2 or a 3 rupee per unit slippage to actually see the realistic outcomes, which is very, very important. Now, what you can do, since you know that the strategy is taking a very high number of trades and you want to reduce that, right? So only then the strategy is going to make sense, because you're only making a 6% return by taking so much risk. Doesn't make sense, right? So what you can do now, which takes me to the next feature, is I can click on edit strategy. And now I can figure out that, okay, now maybe something is not working out. So what I will do is I will maybe add another condition that when this happens, and if my current candle or I can let's say I just go to EMA. So I'll just go to the exponential moving average over here, and I want to use the 21 EMA, and let's say I want to use the maybe the 5-minute EMA. So I'm just gonna click and add to collection, and I want to use the 50 period 5-minute EMA. So now what I want to do is I'm putting a confirmation, and if I want, I can actually use the AI generated insights that only take the trade, let's say, if the super trend is bullish. So let's say if the super trend is bullish, only then take up the trade. So you can see that my condition has now changed, that not only this should happen and this should also happen. And my exit was based on a MACD exit. So I can either exit on this condition, or if let's say I'll just go to the preset scenario that now give me an exit that let's say that if I'll just put a simple condition that if the current candle closing crosses below crosses below the 50 EMA. So I'm just making some random changes. I don't know how it's going to turn out to be. I've made some changes and now I'm going to click on next, and I'm going to restart my backtest. And for the same 1 year period, I will run my results. Now, it is not necessary that the first time you build a strategy, you get the best results that you essentially want, right? So now we have our results now. So now you see that because we added some confirmations, the number of trades reduced to just 47 from 200, which means that we reduced our trades from 220 to almost 50. So we've made it reduced by about more than 60-70%. And what it means now that even after the 2 rupees slippage, we are actually making a 27% net return. So if I remove the slippage component, my PNL is 50,000 rupee gross and 47,000 rupee net, right? But if I add the 2 rupee slippage over here and click on go, my PNL is reduced from 50 to 34, right? Why is that happening? Because I have lesser number of trades. The more the number of trades, the more the slippage. Now, if I see my risk reward is actually much better, it's 3.5x, and my profit factor is 1.82, which is again good. If I look at the January month, it only took 3 trades. In the month of February, it took about 4 trades. In the month of March, 2 trades. April month, it took 4 trades. In May, also 3 trading days. June, also 3-4 trading days. On a monthly level, my losses in these 3 months were very, very small as compared to the big winners I had in June or April. Even in 2025, the 2025 year was flat, but 2026 in April, when the markets took a big trending move, it actually made money after brokerage, taxes, and slippage. So this is a good strategy. Now, if I click on, if I see this particular strategy, I am pretty satisfied that even after slippage, I am making decent money on this. So I am now ready to deploy this on the virtual mode. So I'm going to click on deploy virtual, and I'm going to click on I agree, and I will click on deploy virtual so that now this strategy is deployed. And let's see how does it actually perform in the live markets. So that is how you can create your strategy. You can also duplicate your strategy if you want to. You can see your strategy details. Once you're done, you can then go to my custom strategies where you will be able to see the strategy. So this is the test Nifty algo strategy version 2. And you can see all the results over here. You can also see your custom deployments, how have they been performing. You also have your backtest terminal, which tells you that, okay, this was the strategy, this was the profit factor, this is my version 2, this is my version 1. So profit factor, the higher the better. And this strategy definitely looks better with a 9% drawdown. Lower drawdown, better. Profit factor is higher. The ROI is on the lower side because it is showing you gross level. After adding slippage, the ROI is changing. So like this, you can create your own custom strategy and get started with the strategy builder. I will share more videos with you by breaking down each strategy. And if you want, let me know in in either of the comments if you're watching it on YouTube, that if you want me to create strategy-wise videos of which strategy performs the best in which instrument, and actually run it live. And every week I come and give you a performance breakdown of that. If you're interested in that, drop me that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. More on the tutorials of the StrykeX Builder site coming to you shortly. Thank you so much. Take care and bye-bye.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.